Thank you, Peter. Hello, everyone. Enterprise team is like code for sales. Okay, so if you're not familiar with that term, that's okay. In the Western New York town where I grew up, there's a saying about the weather. Maybe they say it in your town too. If you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, right? In my experience, the payments industry seems to be like that sometimes, doesn't it? Maybe all the time it's like that. While payments can be a fun and challenging industry to work in, keeping up with the pace of change in payments can be really tough. Even for the most seasoned payments pros, like some of you out in the audience, not to mention the newbies among us who come from other backgrounds that move at a slightly more glacial pace, like healthcare. Like most industries, the best way to learn payments is to do payments. You can't replace OJT, on-the-job training. For me, though, OJT just hasn't been enough. Because payments is so complex, I think we have to plan learning into our weeks to thrive as payments professionals. Right? So let me say it this way. To boost your payments IQ, you have to plan to learn about payments. This has certainly been true for me, and I bet it's been true for some of you as well. But why? What makes this true for you and me? Well, first, the nuances of payments in general make the initial plunge challenging for new learners. When I was initially hired, our CEO, Justin, pretty much told me that I had about 6 months or less, and we'd see whether I'd make it in payments or not. Right? He may remember this conversation. This is more or less a paraphrase of what he said to me. I guess it's a good sign that, at least up to this moment, I still work here, and 18 months later. But his point was well taken, and I didn't take that good-hearted warning lightly. Payments is confusing, and I heard someone in the hallway, a speaker here tomorrow, say that payments can be convoluted. That's a good word, as we all know, especially for beginners. Okay, so besides the initial hump to get over, once you're working in payments, there's so many regulatory changes and technology differences to keep track of, right? Anybody heard of GDPR, PSD2, what about 3DS 2.0, stored payment credentials, and whatever happened to Android Pay, right? Google Pay, Apple Pay, all the pays, right? You start getting into this, and it starts to get kind of confusing, doesn't it? It does to me. I freely admit that. So how do we keep up? What kind of learnings do we actually plan into our days? So I want to offer 3 radical, life-changing suggestions. Okay? It's like this. Oh, first, got ahead of myself. First, I'm not actually going to list any suggestions here. If you would like to go and see the suggestions, go to spreedly.com/blog, and there is a blog post at the top of the page, and you can actually get the meat of what I'm going to share with you here. So, what are my radical suggestions? They're this easy. Read, listen, and talk. Whew! Right? Just pick one that works for you. So maybe I should say read, listen, or talk. Well, let's dive in with the read. What are we reading anyway? Here's my first suggestion. Read a payments blog. I'm sure that there are lots of helpful books out there on payments in the payments industry, but let's face it, the pace of change in payments make blog reading a little more ideal for keeping up with what's happening, the news and changes in the industry. Okay? Here are some suggestions. I like reading Fin by Plaid. It has a nice collection of resources in their payments section, including a February submission by one of tomorrow's keynote speakers. Alternatively, I like payments.com. That's payments without any vowels, PYMNTS, for more general payments. They have a masterclass vlog series, which I have just started to dip into and find really helpful. As the name suggests, mobile payments today is more specific to the intersection of payments and mobile technologies, NFC, contactless payments, in-app payments, mobile banking. Another enterprise teammate, that's sales. Again, Daniel Sagnelli. He's a reader of Payments Views by Glenbrook Consultants and says it's pretty helpful. And I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff out there we could be reading. And if you have some great suggestions that belong on my list, I would love to hear them. Okay? So maybe you're saying to yourself, okay, dude, that's cool, but I'm not much of a blog reader. Or maybe you're saying, hey, I read 10 blogs already. I cannot possibly keep up with another blog to read. So maybe a better option for you is listening. And so my second suggestion as an avid audiobook listener and podcast listener, that definitely the on-the-go method that works best for me in retaining information is listen to a payments podcast. And there's a lot of them out there. Personally, I've learned a ton from listening to Payments on Fire from Glenbrook. If you don't know anything about network tokenization, for example, and you should, check out the October 18th episode from last year. Russ Jones gives a great overview of the key concepts in network tokenization, just as an example. Mobile Payments Today and Payments.com also have solid podcasts, but admittedly, I'm not a frequent listener to those. Payments.com does have a news in 90 seconds, though, that is as short as it sounds. And it just gives the quick hits. It's a daily podcast, newsworthy notes about payments in small chunks. And finally, a little bit of a shameless promotion here. Though not a podcast, I certainly want to recommend to you Spreedly's Payments Dialogue. It is a vlog series in which we interview global payments experts. Some of them are here in the audience. We explore payments in Latin America, European payment methods, APMs. We'd love to talk to you about how you can contribute to that vlog as well, if you want. Okay, so we talked about reading and listening, and maybe one of those is a good option for you. But perhaps like me, you do your best kind of learning in an immersion environment, right? Why swim in the kiddie pool? You can jump straight into the deep end and talk to payments people who know payments. And so my last radical idea is that we talk to payments people. And so where can you do that? Well, for starters, you can go to a payments conference. And good start, you're at one already. That's super convenient. We're thrilled that you're here. There are lots of networking opportunities built into the schedule, so please take advantage of those. Talk to your peers. We're even also bouncing around the idea of taking PAYMENTSfn on the road later this year to smaller local venues near you. If you want to know more, ask Peter. We really enjoyed the speakers and the close-knit community vibe at PaymentsEd Forum last year. We'll definitely be attending again this year in San Francisco. The Payments Innovation Summit we went to last year by the Innovation Enterprise was excellent. What we liked about them was that it was a great blend of talks, but also, in addition, we'll have some panels, but they did some great roundtable discussions where they gathered folks around tables and let payments people talk to each other in context, and that was great. We loved that. And you could also go to Glenbrook's Payments Bootcamp. This is a solid immersion resource. If you're brand new to the payments industry, it's a 2-day immersion experience in key payments concepts put on by Glenbrook Consultants. We actually were reaping the benefits. We found so much value in sending various Spreedlings over the years up to their boot camps that we finally brought Glenbrook here to this building actually just a couple months ago. And the entire Spreedly organization went through Payments Bootcamp together. We saw a lot of value there. So there you have it. Again, three radical ideas for, I think maybe I just hit the wrong button. I'm in sales, not technology. I am selling technology. Well, that's okay. So three options to get smart and stay smart on payments: read, listen, and talk. Any of these can be planned into your busy schedule, even to a small degree. In closing, just a small encouragement. Don't try to do it all. Just pick one that works for you. Thanks.